What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my banner review series for Fire Emblem Heroes, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Beyond Darkness banner, which is a Binding Blade banner which we got after 3,000 years of waiting finally, and this one features Thea, Sue, Idunn, and Lugh, and these are the topics which I'm going to be covering in this video, so let us begin.
I woke up because it is what His Highness desired.
Idunn is a red armor dragon with fantastic mixed bulk and pretty decent attack at base 35. She also has workable speed with her weapon, and we're going to be going over that in a moment. And she has got 179 BST, so she's a really high scoring unit in Arena. She comes with Demonic Breath, which gives her +3 defense, and it's effective on armored foes. And this is fantastic with her red color, because in my opinion it's the best color to have the armor slaying weapons on, because there are so many green threats that they're going to be facing in Arena and Arena Assault. So that is absolutely amazing. And at start of combat, if a negative status effect is on her, like a panic status, a candlelight status, or even a debuff, or if she's not at full health, then she will be able to neutralize all of the penalties on herself. And by penalties, the game means the debuffs from shield skills, from ploy skills, stuff like that, and gives her +4 to all of her stats during the combat. So Idunn is completely immune to debuffs, but not necessarily to a status like Panic Ploy. I mean, if she's got buffs and if she gets hit by Panic Ploy, then all of her buffs will become penalties, and because of her weapon, she's going to be ignoring the penalties completely, so she's going to be unaffected, but still she's going to be having that panic status. So if you give her any kind of buff, it will just become penalties, so she's not really immune to these status effects, but rather to the debuffs which come from them. This weapon is not really all that hard to trigger because shield skills are pretty common, and once she's below full health, then she's going to be getting +4 to all of her stats during the combat. And of course, this does the adaptive damage. She's got Bonfire as a special and Fortress Defense Res as her slot A skill, which is absolutely fantastic with her good mixed bulk. And she's got Vengeful Fighter so that she can act as an enemy phase unit, and Ward Dragons finally. Overall, if you compare stats of Idunn to Halloween Myrrh, then Halloween Myrrh just seems better because she's got more attack. She has pretty similar bulk, and her weapon is much better than Demonic Breath because it allows her to act as a mixed phase unit without occupying a Sacred Seal. So she just has to run Vengeful Fighter on a slot B, and she can double in the player phase with Spirit Breath. Not to mention, you can also use her weapon with Special Fighter and slot B and have Quick Repose, so she's going to be able to get the breath effect in both phases. So in my opinion, Halloween Myrrh is better than Idunn because of her weapon, and she has got a pretty similar stat line, but there are a few things which Idunn can do but Myrrh cannot, and this would have been even better if they gave Idunn a bit more speed so that she doesn't really become so same as Halloween Myrrh, but that's what it is. Still, these are the only two red dragons we have got in the game. So overall, Idunn is a powerful red armor dragon with high mixed bulk, but the problem is that she's weak to dragon slaying and armor slaying weapons, which is a huge detriment to her longevity and her usability in something like Ether Raids, because you would think that with her weapon, she's going to be immune to debuffs, and that's going to be fantastic. She's got high mixed bulk, but those weaknesses really hold her back in Ether Raids. And for Arena, she's obviously going to be scoring high, but she's got an armor slaying weapon, and if you're going to be using her in your core, then you probably do not want to take out enemies with her weapon, because then you're going to be missing out on the bonus KOs. So that's a problem. So yeah, if you've got a lot of orbs saved up, then you can plus and merge her and use her in your Arena core, but she's not going to be the best cheerleader. And if you get a low merge copy, or I guess one Idunn, then she's going to be really fantastic to be used in Arena Assault, because she can easily devour all those green armor units, and she is a pretty nice counter to Searcher, who's really common. But I mean, any kind of red unit with an armor slaying weapon and something like Axe Breaker can easily take on Searcher, but she can definitely do that even in the enemy phase because of her weapon. If you get multiple copies of Idunn, then you definitely want to fire her off for Fortress Defense Res because it's a 300 SP slot A skill, which is really good for Arena scoring, and it increases your visible resistance, so you can run stuff like Ploys and Sabotage skills much better. And funnily enough, Halloween Myrrh is a fantastic user of this skill.
You are in my way.
Her first build is a budget build. All you need to do is run Swap and something like a Brazen skill. You probably do not want to run something like Close Defense or Distant Defense because she will have trouble actually losing any kind of HP so that she can drop into the range of her weapon and then get +4 to all of her stats. So something like Brazen skill could be nice and can make her extremely bulky combined with her weapon's effect. And her second build is using distant counter. She's got fantastic resistance to make good use of distant counter, and she does have 48 resistance when she's in the brazen range combined with her weapon, so definitely a good user of that. Her third build is a mixed phase build using Bullfighter and Quicker Post. Really standard build on any kind of armor unit, to be honest. It's not really all that optimal, but it's an option, so you can run brazen attack defense and have brazen attack res. You're going to be able to get plus 14 attack and plus 7 to both of your defenses when you're in the range of that. And she's able to reach 73 attack with this build, which is really powerful. And you can run something like Red Smoke to effectively have 80 attack. This can be used in something like Ether Raids, but then again, you're going to be facing a lot of Armor Slayers and Dragon Slayers and Air and also Hardy Bearing users, so it's going to be inconsistent and really hard, but still nonetheless, it's an option even though it's an inconsistent build. Her fifth build is using Weary Fighter just to make her a really annoying tank, and she can actually reach 30 speed with her weapon, so not a lot of armor units can actually break through her Weary Fighter unless we're talking about someone like Zelgius or something like that. So she's gonna be really tanky and annoying, but she does lack killing power with this build. Her sixth and the final build is utilizing her speed, so it's definitely a gimmicky build. So she's able to reach 44 speed with this build, and she can trigger Special Fighter in both rounds to trigger Ignis, and she's basically immune to speed debuff, so she cannot be slowed down. And because of her good speed and fantastic bulk, she's gonna be a hard unit to take out. So this is definitely an expensive build, not really all that optimal, but still an option and just a theory craft.
Mother Earth and Father Sky will always protect me.
Sue is the first colored bow cavalier in the game and overall the third bow cavalier, and that gives her a lot of novelty in that unsaturated class type, so she's really unique. And she's got a blazing high speed of 38, and she has got a bit low attack at base 32, but it's workable. Another interesting thing is that Sue has got 149 BST, same as Brave Lynn, who was a winner from Choose Your Legends. So I guess they're trying to increase the BST of these ranged cavaliers, and I guess finally putting them around the same level of BST as the Choose Your Legends units. Comparing her stats to Brave Lynn, who's another bow cavalier who's really popular, Sue is definitely fast but doesn't really have any other things which Lynn has got. Lynn can definitely take some magical hits here and there because of her resistance, and her Mulligar weapon is really useful in Ether Raids, at least now, because so many legendary Azuras and mages are common. So Mulligar is able to neutralize the buffs on those mages, so that can be useful, and she also has the access to Sake's Blessing. So overall, Brave Lynn is definitely the better bow cavalier, but Sue cannot directly compete with her because she has got the green color, so she's going to be having advantage against blue units, which Brave Lynn cannot. And I'm really happy that Sue is a green archer instead of just being a colorless bow cavalier like Brave Lynn. So she comes with short bow as her weapon, so it's just the Vodao version of the bow. You can call it a Bodao, I guess, and it gives you plus in damage when your special triggers. It does have 12 might. Sue can definitely make decent use of this because of her high speed, but still, because she is a cavalry unit, she cannot really utilize something like Special Spiral with this bow. She's got Moonbow as her special, which is pretty fantastic with her lowish attack and can help her against tanky units. She's got the standard Swift Sparrow, which seems to be a skill on any kind of player phase unit these days. She's got Chill Defense, which is definitely useful with her attack stat. And if you run Fire Sweep Bow on her, then you can just keep this in her slot B as it is. And her final skill is Hone Spd 4, which is a new skill. This is a 300 SP slot C skill, which is useful for arena scoring. Overall, Sue is a pretty good bow cavalier. She's definitely unique because she's the only green bow cavalier in the game as of right now, and that does have a lot of merits and stuff like Ether Raids and for in general for clearing a lot of content, because that movement is definitely going to be helping you, and that color advantage is going to be helping you many times, but many times it can work against you. So she's definitely a unique unit with good speed. Getting an attack boon on her is going to be absolutely fantastic. And if you get multiple copies of Sue, then you can definitely fodder her off for her short bow, which is the weapon only she has got, or you could also fodder her off for Hone Spd 4. Hone Spd 4 is more worth foddering for because we might get some kind of bow unit with short bow in 3-star, 4-star pool eventually, I guess. So you definitely want to give this skill to your legendary Azura if you have this. This skill is extremely useful because of her prayer wheel, so you can just give an ally +7 to all of their stats, and that's extremely useful for a Blade Tome unit. You can also give this to someone like Erica who has got that weapon refined, and also to a buff bot like Corin, so that can be useful. But if you want to fodder her off for short bow, then here are some recipients of that. You can run this on Jamka because of his high attack. you can use Special Spiral along with this and have something like Moonbow or even an AoE special with Heavy Blade on him. So that can be done with infantry archers. You can also have this weapon on a tanky archer like Halloween Jacob and use this with a healing special like Soul. So something like this can be really useful in Ether raids because he's a colorless unit, so it doesn't really have any kind of color disadvantage, and the short bows plus 10 damage is going to be healing you more, so that can be useful. And finally, you can run this on units like Rebecca who do have the speed but don't really have a very good base attack.
Breathe in the fresh air.
Her first build is a budget build utilizing Desperation and a Brazen Seal. You definitely want to run Desperation on Sue because she has got low bulk. Chill defense is going to be giving you the utility, but you're going to be getting a lot of consistency out of Desperation after your first combat when she's taken damage. And her second build is using Brave Bow, so because of her high speed, you can definitely make her into a quad archer. Not to mention you have got easy access to Hone Cavalry, so that can also be done on a Horse Emblem team. And you can run Darting Blow as a Sacred Seal so that she can reach 43 speed, which is pretty good for quad attacking without counting any sort of buffs. And her third build is her best build utilizing Fire Sweep Bow. Fire Sweep Bow is fantastic on a Bow Cavalier because they have got massive range and not being counter-attacked is definitely pretty powerful, and there is a reason why we do not have Fire Sweep Bow in the 3-star 4-star pool when we have got all other Fire Sweep weapons in there. So this is an expensive build because it requires 5-star Fae, and she's really hard to get. I've been playing this game ever since launch, and I've spent a good amount of money on my main account, but still I've only pulled like 2 Faes so far despite all of my efforts. And you want to run Life and Death to maximize her offenses. Her fourth build is for when you want to use her in your Ether Raids defense. So having a Fire Sweep Bow Sue on your Ether Raids defense can discourage the distant counter or close counter advantage strategy by your opponent using something like Smite, and it can also discourage the super tank strategy because she can chip away large amount of health because of Poison Strike, and this can be a problem only when the opponent has got Null Counter Disrupt. As the metagame for Ether Raids advances and evolves, we're seeing more and more users of Null Counter Disrupt on their super tanks for dealing with a lot of these defense teams which have units like Sue who can be annoying otherwise, so you definitely have to watch out for that. But if your opponent has not pulled Nyla, then you can just annoy the hell out of them with this kind of Sue. And her assist skill depends on the AI movement you want to have on your defense team. You can just leave the assist skill empty, or you could have some kind of rally skill or harsh command, depends on your team to be honest. And as I said, Null Counter Disrupt is getting popular, so Sue will definitely fail against those kinds of super tanks. Her fifth and the final build is also expensive using Fishy Bow Plus from Summer Takumi, so she can retain her chill defense on slot B and still enjoy Desperation from her bow, and she does have pretty good speed for using this weapon, so that can be done.
Before I knew it, everyone had vanished from the orphanage.
Lugh is a green infantry mage with 35-36 offensive spread with pretty decent resistance and 156 BST, similar to the BST which Cliff had, and he has got Gronnserpent Tome. So finally, after a year, we have got another Serpent Tome, and I guess we're going to be getting the red version of this in 2020. Lugh isn't really the best user of this, he's more offensive, and he has got Rally Up Res as another AoE rally skill, which we have got after many months of getting Ophelia. AoE rally skills are good for the AI movement in Ether Raids, and of course in Arena they are high scoring assist skills having 400 SP. He has got Mirror Stance as a slot A skill. As I said, his base kit tries to make him this kind of enemy phase unit, but he's definitely much better offensive unit, and he has got Attack Feint. Attack Feint, in my opinion, is the best feint skill because attack debuff is something universal that any kind of unit can take advantage of, and it can definitely be really helpful for triggering something like Heavy Blade. So that's his base kit. He only has 4 skills, and I highly doubt that he's gonna get demoted even after that because he has got a 400 SP rally skill, which is super useful for arena scoring. So I really doubt that they would demote a unit with that kind of skill, and we didn't really have any kind of Serpent Tome given to us on any kind of free unit or a demote, and Feint skill is also not present on any kind of demote, so I'm not really too sure. I don't really have any kind of hope of demotion, seeing as how they handled the Kitsune and the Wolfskin banner. And of course, being the green infantry mage and son of Nino, you could compare him to his mother. So overall, Nino is still better in my opinion because of her availability and the fact that she has got Iris's Tome, which doesn't have a special cooldown penalty, unlike a Blade Tome which you would run on Lugh. So not having the cooldown penalty on a Blade Tome opens up a lot of options, like you could run Flashing Blade or Heavy Blade with Glimmer and you can trigger that in the desperation range. You can also use something like Special Spiral on Nina with her tome so that you can spam Glimmer, or I guess use AoE specials with that, because you could definitely make use of Heavy Blade easily. So Nina just has more options because of her tome, and Nina is easily available. And as I said, I don't really see Lugh getting demoted. So if Lugh stays 5-star logged, then despite having much better stat line than Nino, I think Nino is still going to be much better because of that lasering weapon and her availability. And overall, Lugh is a pretty solid green mage, has much better stat spread than Nino, has fantastic offensive spread and good resistance. If you get multiple copies of Lugh, you could definitely fodder him off for his Serpent Home. That's something which only he has got. You could run this on units like Halloween Henry, who are really tanky, and you could run him with Special Fighter and Glacies and Cooker Post. You could also run this on an infantry mage like Bowie, who's pretty tanky and needs some resistance in the enemy phase. And of course, Cecilia can also run this. Gronnserpent is definitely going to be really useful in Ether raids because we have got a lot of ranged threats right there, and also a lot of blue threats like Reinhardt and Ophelia and even Ishtar. Rarely. So yeah, that can be usage of Serpent Home. You could also fodder him off for Rally Up Res Plus, which is going to be helping you a lot staying in tier 21 arena. So that can be done. You could also fodder him up for Attack Feint skill to one of your arena cheerleaders. That's the best usage of any kind of feint skill, which is to just use them on a cheerleader for arena, because you're going to be running dual rally skills in that arena metagame, so it's definitely going to be useful. And one more thing which I have to mention is that Lugh has got a super boon in his attack, which gives him 39 base attack with 36 speed, which is absolutely amazing. So if he ever gets demoted, which I highly doubt, he could make use of Vantage and Close Counter build really well with that attack super boon.
For the people I hold dear.
His first build is a budget build utilizing the Serpent Home with Quicker Post and Distant Defense, so you can reach 32 defense and 47 resistance in the enemy phase with this build, but still it does lack player phase and doesn't really utilize his full offensive spread because of it. And Lugh is more offensive in my opinion, so another budget build you could run on him is a support build. It can be done to any kind of unfavorable IV Lugh. You could definitely run this, have attack tactic, defense tactic, and attack feint. So using this build, you can give plus 13 bulk to an ally against a debuffed foe from attack feint, because you're going to be having the defense tactic buff and also the rally up res buff on them. So it can be a pretty good supportive build. And the third build is the standard Blade Tome set using Fury Desperation. He uses his offensive spread really well, and this is definitely the best budget build for him, which utilizes his offenses. And his fourth build is more expensive build using the Close Counter Vantage build. So this is absolutely fantastic for ether raids, for sweeping a lot of teams, and can definitely be combined with a buffer like Legendary Azura to make him really powerful. And because he has got an attack super boon, it definitely helps a lot with this kind of Vantage build. And Rest Smoke is activated in both phases, so that's definitely helpful. So you definitely have to watch out for the Hardy bearing foes and Red Micaiah, of course, which are going to be a big problem. And you also have to keep in mind that Panic Manor can mess up this kind of build. As I said, if he does get demoted, then he can definitely use the super boon and have plus and merge. Extremely useful for ether raids.
It's my battle to fight.
Thea is the final unit on this banner, and outside of her beautiful art, Thea in general is a disaster. Like, that's the best way to describe her. If you look at her stat spread, it's definitely outdated. She has got good 35 base speed, but low 32 base attack. She's got a decent mixed bulk, but if you compare her to some of the other Lance Flyers, then she definitely falls flat. You could just compare her to her sister Shanna. She's just got one more attack point than Shanna, a launch unit, and she's just a more defensive version of Shanna. Shanna has got her own weapon, which is definitely really powerful and made her much better. Thea doesn't really have any of that, and she's probably not going to be getting any kind of help from Weapon Refinery for like 1 or 2 years, because we're still getting refines for the Gen 1 units. You could also compare her to Shigure, which completely invalidates her existence, because Shigure pretty much has a similar bulk because he has got higher HP and he does have more speed, which is extremely important, and also better attack. So Shigure can just be a better Lance Flyer to invest into. And you could also compare her to Katria, another launch unit. She's really an upgraded version of Katria if you really look at her, but Katria has got a legendary weapon, which is extremely amazing. So Thea once again falling short in that regard. So as you can see, Thea definitely falls flat and does get outclassed by a lot of the existing Lance Flyers, and it's such a saturated class type. I don't know why they made her a Lance Flyer. They could have made her a Sword Flyer and that would have been slightly better, but yeah, she's not really looking all that hot when it comes to stats. And her weapon is Vanguard Plus. This is the Lance version of Safeguard Plus, I guess. So this gives her +7 defense in the enemy phase. She's got Ignis, which can be nice if you stack up Steady Posture and Vanguard. Steady Posture in Slade is decent because she does have the speed for it and does need the defense for the enemy phase, I guess, if you're running that kind of build. And she's got a dual seal skill, which is definitely really laughable. These kinds of dual seal skills were never relevant even when they were launched, and she looks like an obvious demote. Outclass, stat spread, not really all that good base kit. She does have Ignis, Steady Posture. Steady Posture is present on Raisin and Vanguard Plus. Now, there are not really too many Lance units who could use this because the ones who could use this already have a superior legendary weapon. And here are some recipients of Vanguard Plus that you could fodder off your Thea to. So you could definitely have this on Azura because she's a dancer, and this does give her a pretty good longevity because she does have decent speed. You could also run this on Lucas, but you're going to be giving up on Slaying Lance, which is pretty big. And Berkut Lance is also really good for a high investment Lucas for balancing his mixed bulk. But Vanguard Plus can be done if you just want to focus on defense and just make him incredible Wall of Valentia. And finally, we have got Matilda, who does have more resistance than defense. So this can be run on a distant counter Matilda so that she can have a balanced mixed bulk. And overall, Thea is definitely the most underwhelming unit we have got for quite a few months. She just has outclass stat spread, oversaturated class type, and also doesn't have a very good base kit. So Thea is the type of unit that you definitely want to use your time machine for and send her back into 2017 so that at least she can flex on the Katria who didn't really have a weapon refine. But still, we did have Cordelia back then with 35 offenses. So yeah, unfortunately, Thea gets the short end of the stick on this banner.
Ready your weapon.
This is her first budget build. You don't really have to do too much. The double seal skill is not really all that good, so you can replace that with renewal. And if you refine her weapon and run attack speed bond, then she can reach 47 speed, which is pretty good for doubles in the enemy phase. And her second build is definitely one of her better sets using Fire Sweep Lance. She can utilize her good speed with Fire Sweep Lance to become a poking unit, and Luna can be nice against bulky units. You could also run Lunge on her if you want to put her on your AR defense team. And her third build is utilizing Slaying Lance. Ignis becomes a 3-turn cooldown special, and that can be really powerful with brace and attack defense. Her fourth build is using Harmonic Lance with Moonbow, and because of her good speed, she can be a good user of this weapon, but Shigure is a better Lance unit overall. And her fifth build is using Berkut Lance. So because of her mixed bulk, she can definitely run this to have a really good enemy phase and run something like Iochi's Sacred Seal so that she's safe against archers. And you could definitely make use of her resistance to run something like a ploy skill, but it's definitely an expensive build. And finally, we have got her cheerleader build. If you want to make her into a plus and merge unit, you could use her in your arena core, and you can have Wagasa Plus from Legarn. And this is a fantastic weapon for cheerleading. You can have another chill skill on slot B, have blue dual flying from Azura, and you want to run Hone Attack 4 if you want to get max score with your Thea. And that's one of the disadvantage of having a unit like Thea be a cheerleader, because you will be needing a 300 SP slot C skill if you want to reach the max score. Other Lance flyers who have a legendary weapon like Katria, Florina, Shana, Claire don't really need this kind of expensive slot C skill to reach their max score. Overall, this is one of the more passable banners that we have got in past few months, which is definitely a really sad thing to say, because finally after 2 years, Binding Blade gets a banner, and everyone has been passing on this banner. I did conduct a poll, and pretty much half of the people who answered that poll are not going to be pulling on this banner. It's understandable, because even though Idunn is a armored dragon, we still have Halloween Myr, who was present on the Find and Vote banner last month. Lugh is a powerful offensive unit, but many people have already invested into Nino as their go-to powerful mage. And Sue is definitely the most unique unit out of this banner, being the only colored bow cavalier in the game. And as I said, that does have a lot of merits in ether raids and for clearing a lot of the in-game content. And Thea is just Thea. They couldn't even make Thea like the budget Sumiya, so Thea is looking like the obvious demote. So you definitely do not want to summon on the Bluestone. And if you're a free-to-play player, then you definitely do not want to summon on this banner right now. You definitely want to wait all the way until like the last week, because this banner lasts for like an absurd amount of time, which is a month. And we're gonna be having a mythic hero banner at the end of this month, which is gonna be having an Astra mythic hero, which is gonna be increasing your lift. So pulling on that banner for the Astra mythic hero can definitely be a good choice if you're trying to reach tier 21 in Ether Wraiths, so you can definitely save your orbs for that. And this banner does last for a long time. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like and share this video with your friends who are trying to pull on this banner or are trying to build the units from this banner. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that you can get the updates whenever I upload my videos, because YouTube is about as functional as Thea. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.